Every single day you might be doing things in your own kitchen, simple habits that could be making you and your family sick. It's kind of a scary thought, right? Well, today we're going to dive into some of the most common mistakes that could be putting your health on the line right in your own home.
When you think of food poisoning, what comes to mind? Probably some sketchy restaurant, yeah? But what if I told you the real danger zone is actually much, much closer to home? This quote from Dr. Girma Kebede, a specialist in this field, is a total eye-opener. The biggest risks might not be out there. They could be right there in your kitchen.
So, drawing from Dr. Kebede's work, we are going to break down these 7 most dangerous and honestly most common food safety mistakes that you really need to stop making, like right now, to protect your health.
All right, let's just dive right in. We're counting down the 7 most critical food safety mistakes. And I'm willing to bet you'll recognize at least one of these. And hey, making one simple change could make all the difference.
So, kicking off our list at number 1 is a bit of a controversial one: drinking raw milk. You've probably heard the buzz that it's more natural, has more nutrients, but the science on this is crystal clear. It's a really dangerous misconception, and the risks are just not worth it. And here's exactly why it's so risky. I mean, look at this list. Raw milk can be carrying some seriously nasty bugs like E. coli and salmonella. But here's the good news. The fix is, well, it's super simple. Just boil your milk before you drink it. That one little step completely wipes out the risk. Okay, moving on to mistake number 2. This is one that I think a lot of us might be a little guilty of sometimes: eating raw or undercooked meat. Whether it's a super rare steak or some ground meat that's still a bit pink inside, you're opening the door to some nasty stuff.
Yeah, and this slide really spells it out. We're not just talking about a little stomachache. We're talking serious things like tapeworms and, yep, there they are again, E. coli and salmonella. The fix is obvious. Cook your meat all the way through. A meat thermometer is honestly one of the best tools you can have in your kitchen. For ground meat, you're aiming for about 160 degrees Fahrenheit or 71 Celsius. Mistake number 3 is going to sound like a no-brainer, but you would be shocked at how often people forget it: not washing your hands after touching animals. And this goes for your cute little pets at home just as much as it does for livestock on a farm. I mean, think about it. Animals just naturally have all sorts of bacteria on their fur, their skin, you name it. And if you pet them and then go make a sandwich without washing your hands, you've just created a superhighway for germs to get into your food. The solution is simple, but it's not optional. Always, always use soap and clean water after you handle an animal. Let's talk about number 4, which is a massive problem all over the world: using contaminated water. Unsafe water isn't just a problem for drinking. If you use it for cooking or even just rinsing your vegetables, it can be a huge source of foodborne illness. Just look at what can be hiding in there. It's basically an invisible cocktail of nasty stuff: bacteria, parasites, viruses. So look, if you have even the slightest doubt about your water source, please don't risk it. Boil it or use a filter you trust before it goes anywhere near your food. Okay, mistake number 5 is one of the biggest reasons people get food poisoning at home. It's called cross-contamination. The term sounds a little technical, but it's actually super simple. It's just when germs from raw foods, like raw chicken, literally jump over to your cooked or ready-to-eat foods, like a salad. And this right here shows you exactly how to stop it. The golden rule is just separation. Use one cutting board for raw meat and a different one for your veggies. And please, never, ever put your cooked steak back on the same plate that held the raw steak. Wash it first. So let me ask you a question. Picture this. Dinner's over and you've got leftovers sitting on the counter. How long is too long to leave them out? This question leads us straight into our 6th mistake. The answer? Not long at all, my friend. Room temperature is basically a playground for bacteria. It's what we call the temperature danger zone, where bacteria can literally double in number every 20 minutes. So don't wait, get those leftovers into some clean, covered containers and pop them in the fridge right away. And that brings us to our final mistake, number 7. And this one is incredibly serious: consuming meat or milk from an animal that was sick. This is a huge public health issue for a very good reason. The risk here is pretty clear. You can get a disease directly from the animal. So the solution has 2 parts. First, just avoid it. If an animal seems sick, you do not want to consume anything from it. And second, and this part is for the good of the whole community, report sick animals to the local veterinary authorities. Okay, I know we just went through 7 pretty scary mistakes, but here is the really good news. Preventing all this stuff really just comes down to a few simple, powerful habits. So let's recap the big rules. So, how do we actually do this? Well, it all boils down to these 4 super simple steps. If you remember anything from this, remember this. First, cook your food all the way through. Second, separate your raw and cooked foods. Third, clean everything, your hands, your cutting boards, your water. And finally, store your food the right way. That's it. Cook, separate, clean, and store. It's that easy.
And this right here is the most powerful takeaway of all. Most of these illnesses, they're not just bad luck. They are almost entirely preventable. The power to keep yourself and your family safe is literally in your hands.
So, you see, this isn't just about following a list of rules. It's about really understanding that you play a huge role in a whole system of health and safety. And it all starts right there in your kitchen. Every single choice you make matters. So I want to leave you with this final thought. After everything we've talked about, what's the one change you're going to commit to making, starting today, to make your kitchen safer? Because it's all connected. Safe food leads to a safe family, and that helps build a safe community for all of us.